Today I'm gonna talk with you guys about one of the applications that I did not so far, which is actually related with the possibility for us to run different kind of post-deployment Apex scripts on the target environment. So let's imagine that we have a task, and our task is actually to run tons of different post-deployment steps, which are actually Apex scripts. Of course, we could use different kind of applications for a Salesforce post-deployment related to Apex, like for example, Capata. But if you don't want to use, like license, or you can't use this license, and you would like to have something built your own, especially in our era when we have, like possibility to use help of AI, you could do so just by yourself. So here is just one of application which I developed by myself just to speed up process that I need to do. So in that application, we of course have dark mode, we have light mode for those who prefer, let's say, dark mode. And that application is completely running on top of the GitHub pages. So that means that it's hosted for free. It's available at this moment. It sits on the public repo. So I will post in the description of this video a link. So you will be able to take a look and learn more about this application. So if we need to run something on top of the, let's say, Salesforce, that means that we need, first of all, login into Salesforce. And to be able to log in into Salesforce, I at this moment added here into that application two options. One of them is OAuth through SSO, and another one is through the session ID. So when we're using session ID, we need to use proxy URL because we have a course restriction. And here in that application, like information about how it can be done easily and for free. But I would prefer to use SSO option or auth option, where we just provide an instance URL. So in our case, it's just an URL to our Salesforce org, and then we are putting here our consumer key from the connected app. So instructions how to create this connected app I actually listed here. So connection app is pretty simple. Everything what we need to make sure that we have, like set up, enable auth settings, and then that we set up callback URL equal to the URL of this application. And then we have our scope set up to the following, though API is enough for us. And then require secret for web server flow should be unchecked. Then just save and copy consumer key. So important note, if you guys will use standard connected apps, then you need to make sure that your user, for you to be able to copy consumer key, will have a managed connected app permission. But if you will use external client app, you need to make sure that you will assign to your users the following permissions, because otherwise, if you will try to find out your consumer key, you will get an insufficient privileges message. But with those permissions, you will be able to get it. So let's take a look how it actually works. So we are clicking login. So after that, we are redirected to the Salesforce page where it's asking us, are we sure that we would like to allow this specific application actually access to our environment? So, like to work through the API. We are clicking yes, we would like to actually allow that application to work with our Salesforce instance. So after that, you could see that on our tab, we have indicators that we actually connected. Here we could see, like to which environment we are connected. So now we are going to the step number 2, and step number 2 is actually helping us to specify from which source we would like to grab our scripts. So at this moment we have two sources. One of them is possibility to use zip archives, and another one is possibility to use GitHub repo. So let me show you how it works with zip archive. So with zip archive, it works pretty easily. You're just downloading your zip from where you have it. You're just selecting the zip file from there. So now my zip file is actually added, and now this application is actually parsing it for me. So when it's parsed for me, it finds out that inside of it there are two subfolders, and in each subfolder I have some script which need to be executed. So at this moment I added support of two files of the script. It's actually txt and it's Apex or class extension. So I could actually configure it here if required, but I decided to just keep it like this based on my requirements. Then I click and run. It's confirming to me, oh, hey, okay, you have two scripts selected. Do you would like to proceed? Yes, I would like to proceed. So what it's actually trying to do, it's trying to run the scripts on the environment. So at this moment, those scripts that I have in my files are actually failing, and it's returned me back the actual, log from the Salesforce about why we could not actually make the script working, right? Because some code which is inside of the script is actually returning back as the following error. And here we could see statistics that in terms of two scripts, 0 is passed, 2 is failed. So here a number of milliseconds which it took for us to run it. And then we could switch to report, or we could export what we need in three formats: HTML report, CSV report, and Excel. So if we grabbing it as an HTML report, so from here we could actually go and open our view script source, so we could see what is actually inside of this Apex script in our files, and we could take a look, like to be able to understand better what is actually inside, right? Why it might fail. Let us jump back to our application. So in our application, we have also another option. It's to go to reports. So in reports, you could see some my past runs. I could take a look, like how it was, like for example, in my previous run, which I did 6 minutes ago, right? I could take a look what was number of scripts, how much time did it take. I could read everything from here, what is required for me. I could clean all of them if it's not required for me to track them. And from here, I as well have an option to export in any format that I need. Now let's jump back to our application and let's take a look how select scripts option work when we need to select it directly from the JIT. Because sometimes when we manage our post-deployment steps in our JIT, so that means that in the JIT we have already some branch with some folder, and in that folder we already have our scripts. So in that case, what I did is I added here a possibility to add our specific token. So a token is pretty easy to grab in the repo. So there are two ways to grab it. We could grab classic, let's say, token, or we could grab, let's say, specific token. So I decided to create a specific. I will update the description. But anyway, we are putting that token here. And after that, what it's doing is actually allowing us to see all, let's say, repos which are connected to our GitHub key. So I selected here that it's actually available to see all my repos that I have connected to my GitHub account. So that means that if I will select something, it will try to parse and see if there are any kind of TXT or Apex files. So then if I will, let me see, if I remember correctly, somewhere I had something. Somewhere here was a file. So two of this I'm loving. Okay, so even if I not find anyone where I have a script, I think that you guys understand the actual idea. So actually here we have a possibility for us to set up a base path where we need to take a look. So here we could find out, like all our folders that we have, like with any kind of TXT or Epic script. Like for example, we find out that one, and from here we could, like run it if it's required for us to run it. So because at this moment, those scripts that I have in my archive plus scripts that I have from my JIT, they are not passing because, like it's just a regular file, the last one, and those two are actually regular files. I tested it on real environment, right, or with the real scripts, and it was working. So here I just letting you know how it works as well. What else in terms of tabs? We have here additional tab, and the tab is actually related to documentation. So if you guys would like to know a little bit more about that application, you could find out it from our documentation page. Here also, you could see some example of what is the structure, from where we could grab our token, where to grab GitHub token. So all that kind of information is actually provided here, so it's easy to actually find out what needs to be done. So that's all in terms of this application, just a quick application to help us to optimize and do some routine work that we usually let's say doing manually, and it takes too much time for us to do so. So better to optimize it. So thank you guys and have a good day.